everybody, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to it. If you're unfamiliar with who I am and what I do, I am a freelance photographer and model in the Metro Detroit area. What I'm going to be talking about today is a photo challenge I actually came up with for some of my colleagues and peers in the Metro Detroit area to try out. I'm hoping to keep trying to make more little competitions for people outside of my bubble of people. So if you're interested in ever being in one of these competitions, please just let me know, or DM me on Instagram and I will get you on the list. Due to COVID, obviously we haven't all really been shooting as much and we haven't had the opportunity to work with other people as much. So I wanted to think of a way that people could still shoot and be creative, but do that completely by themselves. So I came up with this idea that I would go back in all of their Facebooks and go back like 4, 5, 6 years and pick a photo that I wanted them to replicate now with their new talents and gear and everything that they know now. The prize that I offered for this competition is an Argoflex 75 120 film camera. It's super awesome. I love the little viewfinder at the top. It makes it feel super cool. So they can win this camera and a roll of black and white 120 film. Originally, I wanted to put the photos in a poll in some of my Facebook groups that I'm in to poll who people thought did the best, who used their photo the best for inspiration, yada, yada, yada. But we all know how the internet works, and I had a lot of people end up posting their photos before I could even host the competition, and I will communicate better the exclusivity, I guess, until after the end of the competition. So in terms of the winner, we're going to pick that at the end, but let's just jump right into the photos. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the original photo, and I'm going to show you the photo that they took in 2020 or 2021, and I'm just going to talk briefly about what I think they did well, what I think they might have used for lighting, gear, etc., and what I think that maybe potentially that they could grow on or whatever. First one I'm going to jump into is Michaela Malco. I gave her this photo and she ended up shooting this one in 2020. So it's pretty clear the things that she did use as inspiration: the hair and the face, the green shirt. I think these are probably like 7 years apart. I believe the first photo was in like 2013 or 2014, and this photo is as of now. So it's pretty clear to see that this is a huge change. Not everyone had like professional quality photos that I picked for them. So hers was not. And so she shot this one herself. And it's pretty clear that she has a light that's coming from, if we're looking at it, like the top right or right in front of her face. You can kind of tell by the glare on her face and her cheek and nose that the light is probably coming from that right side a little bit, even if it's pretty close to right in front. And you can see that there's a LED strip light in the back, which I think she said was just on her countertops. So it's clear that there's growth here. She also has a tattoo now that she didn't have before. One of the things I think that she did pretty well is the hair is super smooth. It's nice and shiny. It makes it look like it's like super soft. That's pretty hard. That can be pretty hard to do with somebody that has curly or wavy hair. So I think that was done really well. It's clear that she used that as inspiration. I love the little pop of color on the lip that kind of goes with the pink lights in the background. The only thing for me that I would say criticism wise is that the skin to me looks a little bit too pink. So I would have tried to balance those reds out and make them a little bit more like, add a little bit more yellow instead of pink, but it does work because, and it does make sense as a source of that pinkness if we are looking at the light behind her head. So that is the first one we're going to go through. Again, this is the before, this is the after. She ended up shooting this in like a day or two, and I really appreciated it. So I'd say this was she did a pretty good job. The next person that I sent one to is a friend of mine named Emily. They actually had this photo taken of them when we were both in college at Central Michigan University. And I just realized I'm like constantly looking down because I am looking at the photos on my laptop. So I sent them this one and I said, hey, you know, you don't have to go to this extreme, but I want you to use this one as your inspiration. And this is the photo that they took now, which it's pretty clear that there's been upgrade in gear, upgrade in lighting and understanding lighting. They did not take this first photo, so I don't want to compare Emily to the photographer that did take this photo, but you can tell that there's definitely progression in the skill between then and now. If we look and we zoom in here, the retouching's done pretty well. I do like that the lines are a little bit more separate than the first one. It kind of breaks things up a little bit so it doesn't look so crowded with that paint on their face. The black lipstick is a lot cleaner in the second one than the first one. And I really think that they did a really nice job. It kind of looks like this was just taken against just like a white wall because you can kind of see the texture in both of them. This was taken with some sort of strobe light or film light that's probably up and to the left. You can kind of tell that the shadows fall off sort of behind. I really like this one. I think there's a huge improvement here. Again, I'm not hating on the first photographer that did it, but I do see a lot of quality in this image, and it's definitely one of the ones that I thought they took their time on, and it looks really good. I like it. Okay, so this one is this is probably one of the most extreme versions I did send to somebody, but I know that they're super talented and they're super skilled, so I wanted to see how they would use this photo as inspiration. So we all had photos like this on our MySpace, our early Facebook pages. We were like, oh my God, we're so crafty. I'm gonna put my hands up in the frame. And she ended up messaging me asking like, do I have to do this exact thing? Which of course I said, no, it's just for inspiration. And what she came up with was pretty awesome. So this is what I sent, and this is what Paige came up with. Paige killed it. I first of all love Paige's style. If you haven't seen her work or checked her out, please check it out. She's on Instagram as Hex Tapes. I really like this one. I like this one a lot because it's not the exact same photo that I sent, and it was actually used as inspiration, and it was made in a modern way. Playing with depth of field and hand placement is still very trendy in photography, but of course she took it and ran with it in a separate way doesn't scream like early 2000s MySpace photo. I really enjoy how the light looks here. You can actually see in her eyes that she must have used like a ring light or something to light this photo. I do like how dark it is. I do think that because her hair, the black half of her hair or the black part of her hair falls off into the background, it kind of is a little bit, it's up in the air as to that whether that's her hair or if she's got a hoodie on or anything. I don't think that takes away from the image. However, I think that the way that that diagonal line cuts through the top left is very aesthetically pleasing. I really like the colors as well. Again, in this one, retouching is great. I love all the highlights. I like the blue. I think that she made her eyes a little bit more saturated to make them pop a little bit, which I think worked very, very well. The only thing that I would say is that maybe her fingers are like a little bit too red, but to be honest with you, there is a nice gradient from like this dark navy blue kind of up to that red in her hand. So it is something that I would have played with, but maybe she did play with it and she ended up not liking it when she brought the redness down, and I would totally understand why. So I think that this is a great one as well. Also, she killed the makeup. I don't know if she did that in post or if she did that obviously beforehand, but I do really like this one as well. I just want to interject here really quick. I do have some pretty exciting news about my first photo book that I published in 2019. It is called Dear Billy. If you've seen my videos or my Instagram or literally anything of my work, you've probably heard me talk about this before, but I'm very, very excited, and I just want to tell everyone that you can now order my book on Amazon, which is super awesome. So please check it out if you get a chance. You can get a soft cover print copy for your coffee table for $45. It is 106 pages of photography, tips, tricks, narration by me, critique of when we all fell asleep, where do we go, and probably 300 photos. If you don't want to spend that kind of money but you still want to check it out, have no fear, because I did make a digital version of the book as well that you could purchase for $10. So if you're interested in checking out what I've published, I am having my next book published hopefully in the summer of 2021 if COVID kind of slows down and I can work things out. So I just wanted to interject that in here before we keep moving forward. All right, moving on to the next one. This next one I sent to my friend Erin Mcconnell. She had not taken this photo either, but I really liked how stark the lighting is. And if you go look at her work, she didn't used to typically work with super harsh and extreme lights. So I did want to give her a challenge because I know that she could handle it. So this is the photo that I sent her, and this is what she came up with. It's crazy because she actually ended up having the same exact dress that she had back in 2014 or something. She still had the dress in her closet. Posing wise, you could tell from the one that was from a long time ago, and now that she's a little bit more comfortable. As you can see in that first one, her wrist and her hand is a little bit stiff up here, and when you go to that second one, that one from 2021 or the new one, it's a lot more relaxed. So definitely she learned kind of being more comfortable in front of the camera, which of course comes naturally as you progress and you keep working on stuff. I really like how the light hits in the second one a little bit more than the first. I think the first, the highlights are a little bit overexposed, and so she compensated for that in the second one. And I do like that her chin is up a little bit higher than it was in the first one as well. I don't really have much critique on this one. The only thing that I would say that maybe sticks out to me, and again, none of these critiques are an actual critique or criticism. It's just little things that stand out to me. I think that they all did amazing, and so if you are watching this, the people who made them, I am not critiquing you. I'm just pointing out things that I notice that are different, or things that I think make the photo stand out or stand out in the photo. So just a disclaimer, so that way nobody's feelings are hurt. The only difference between the first and the second one that I wonder makes the first one a little less distracting is the shadow from her face on her hair. It doesn't exist in that first photo, but it does in the second, and it kind of forces that face to feel bigger than it is because that shadow is connected to the dark side of her face. I'm not really sure how that could have been fixed, but it is something that I immediately noticed when I'm looking at this photo. Obviously the light is up and to the right, up and to the right for us, up and to the left for her if she's looking at the camera, which you can tell easily by how the light is hitting her face and the shadows kind of fall off. So I think that this one was amazing. I love seeing the transformation, and I love seeing the transformation that's literally almost the same exact shot. I think this looked really good. And she has a tattoo now too, so it's kind of like a game of spot the difference on this one, to be honest. This next one I sent to my friend Heather. She is an amazing makeup artist. She has awesome work. She's very creative. She builds like these really cute sets for a lot of her work. Check it out if you do get a chance. I did send her a few options because there were a couple things that I wanted her to try, but I didn't want to have to ask her to do way more than everyone else. Thankfully, she's really awesome, and she was totally fine doing way more than everyone else anyway. So this is the first photo that I sent to her, and this is the photo that she made now. And I love that, again, she used it as inspiration. She didn't try to just actually replicate the image, which I really like. She actually did take this first photo back in 2017, and then this is the one that she took in 2021. And I really love the makeup. To me, it's very stark. I think that her eyes really pop as well. I'm not sure if those are contacts or just dodge and burning or just Photoshop altogether, but they really pop in this photo, and they go really well with the wig color and that little gold trim in the back, which I think is really effective. The makeup obviously is amazing. Like I said, she's an amazing photographer. She's an amazing makeup artist. The light is obviously, and I believe this is probably like a beauty dish or something. Maybe not, but it does kind of look a little bit more like spread out. The light is coming from the top left, kind of just straight at her. You can kind of tell as well based on the shadows and how they're falling off on the right of the photo. I really like how that she incorporated like a little bit of a costume piece as well. Altogether, I think this is a really great shot. And this is actually one that did get posted early, and it got a lot of great feedback. And I'm very happy because I like having people create things that make them feel proud. And so I think this is a really great one. In terms of criticism, I don't have much. The only thing that I would say, again, I'm being nitpicky because there aren't very many things to point out in these photos, is that if you're going to do retouching, which obviously the face is like perfectly retouched, it looks really, really nice. Make sure you're retouching hands or whatever other part of the body. Maybe not to that extreme, but just to make sure that there's not like a stark difference between the, different areas of the body or the skin. But like I said, this photo is truly amazing. It is a work of art in itself. And I have to nitpick because I have to find things so that way I'm not just like everything's amazing and everyone's good and there's nothing to learn. I should have done one for myself, but I didn't think about that until right now. So let's keep it moving. This last one is of my friend Ryan. He's super awesome. Check out his work. His style is really unique, so I really appreciate seeing him grow as I have known him. He didn't really have that many Facebook photos, so I did have to go with one that was kind of just like kind of looked like it was taken by a photographer a little bit. The light in the original one is clearly coming from the top left, but the bill of the hat definitely is shadowing his face, so I wanted him to play with this again, and obviously this is the original, and this is what he ended up coming up with. I think there's definitely an improvement, even just the angle itself. He kind of has in that first photo, kind of like that anime like angle where you're kind of looking up at the camera. So he did fix that. Obviously his beard is longer and squarer, so that's a little bit different as well. And I do like the choice that he made to use the back of a reflector. I actually ended up asking him what this was, but the back of a reflector to use as a backdrop instead of just like a black wall or just any wall anywhere. And you can definitely tell that the light is coming from that top left. So I think that he did a really good job with this. I think that the skin, and obviously it's a lot more crisp. Of course, this first photo is from years ago, so it's way more pixelated. He has the same hat, so that made it really easy. It almost looks like he has the same glasses too. In terms of critique, I don't have a ton. The only thing that I would say is because the bill of that hat is shadowing so far onto his face, that maybe moving the light down a little bit to catch a little bit more light between here and the hat would be beneficial, because after the bill it kind of just turns black minus this spot right here, and then you kind of lose that left, or his left, our right side of the glasses. So just little things to kind of look into or consider. Like I said, this was just like a little challenge I sent them, so I did not expect them to A, be a perfectionist, or B, take like a ton of time on these. Altogether, I think that this is a big improvement on that photo. And one other little thing is that there's wrinkles in his shirt at the bottom left. Those types of things drive me crazy. Again, I get it. This was just a challenge that I sent you and you did it for me for free. So I'm not expecting the world, but just little things to kind of keep in mind for when you take your photos, or when you're looking at other people's photos, to figure out what you do and don't like about them. So that's all I have for in terms of going through and kind of critiquing them. In terms of picking a winner, I am literally going to draw a name out of a hat. So I'm going to go write all the names and then put them in a hat or a bucket or something, and I will be right back. Right, so I'm actually going to pull them out of a bowl because I don't have a good hat to use. I'm just mixing them. Alright, so again, whoever's name I draw is going to win this camera, Argoflex 75, and one roll of black and white 120 film. I didn't realize I actually have film in here right now, so I need to finish shooting this before I give it away. So yeah. So I'm just gonna go ahead and draw, and this is, I'm only gonna draw one so that way nobody's upset. All right, let's see who it is. Emily. So Emily is going to be the winner of the Argoflex 75. Emily's photos are these ones right here. I will let them know and get this camera out to them. I hope that they end up using it, and I look forward to seeing the shots, because it's really, I've only shot like 8 photos on it ever, and I've probably had it for like a year and a half. So I hope that they love it. Like I said, if you are interested in being in one of my challenges, I kind of want to do one of these every month, and I do want to offer a little prize to come with all of them. So if you are interested, please drop your name or your Instagram below, or follow me as well. And if you like this video, or you feel like you've actually learned something, or you want to steal this idea and do it with your friends, please like, subscribe, and if you're feeling super friendly, go ahead and hit that notification bell. That way you'll know when I upload new videos, and I will see you in the next one.